Alright, YouTubers, this is Dr. V coming to you with another exciting episode of the Other UFO Show. This is my own personal story that took place somewhere between 1974 and 1977. Really not exactly sure as the date at this time. Approximately 5 miles across the Zamovia Straits from Wrangell Island is another island called Warnoski Island. The northern point of this island is called the Elephant's Nose by the locals, for obvious reasons. Running along Zamovia Straits is a two-lane roadway, appropriately named Zamovia Highway. I was just a child when I was with my mother in the vehicle. As we drove out of town to go out the road, we would have been driving from the north toward the south. I have 6 sisters. I believe some of them were in the car with me as well, at least 2 or 3 of them. And this is what I recall seeing. 5 bright lights in a vertical V formation moved from north to south at an incredible speed, disappearing from view. There was excitement in the car, I remember that, for we had seen UFOs. That is all that I do remember from this incident, because it only became a campfire story, a story you told to close friends later in life. You know the kind of time to be telling a story like that, when you all start musing about close encounters. In fact, due to my military service, I decided that it was probably just the afterburners on 5 jets that were flying in formation nearby. I would go on to have other unidentified aerial phenomenon occurrences throughout my life, one of which is already posted here on this YouTube channel called Phoenix Lights 2012. But it wasn't until 2019, almost 40 years later, that this incident in the 70s would take an interesting twist. In 2019, I came upon information that advised me that these 5 lights had been seen throughout the state of Alaska, traveling from the north part of the state down through southeast Alaska, where Wrangell is located. 5 lights were traced heading south through British Columbia, Canada. This is on the south part of Alaska, stretching down toward Washington state. Then the lights were documented moving through Washington state. They were then observed flying through Idaho and into Montana. From there is no record. This information discredited one of my other theories about these lights, and that is that a lot of these lights that we see are called earthquake lights. Without going into a deep discussion of it, I've got 2 photographs here, one from National Geographic and one from Penn State, that show earthquake lights. The obvious similarities between just orbs of light is quite astonishing. Earthquake lights have been documented traveling along mountainsides and through valleys because they can follow the fault lines. They also can appear weeks in advance of any earthquake tremors, and earthquakes happen continually in Alaska. In fact, Warnoski Island is right near a fault line. But to have earthquake lights travel through multiple states like that, I couldn't believe that. Though my childhood sighting had been verified, I felt like I needed to interview some people to get more accounts of what happened. Unfortunately, my mother had already passed away, so I had no choice to actually talk to my sisters. I was excited about this ordeal I would have to go through, as you can tell from the excitement in my voice, but surely, out of 6 sisters, a couple of them would remember being there and join in the hunt for our UFOs. Unfortunately, that's not what occurred. None of the first 5 sisters that I interviewed remembered anything about seeing any UFOs. There was one sister left to talk to. Needless to say, I was disappointed up to this part. But when talking to that sister, it was revealed that she remembered the incident. She remembered excitement, and that UFOs had been seen exactly like I had stated. She knew that it was kids in the car and Mom driving the car. The only troubling fact was she couldn't remember if she was in the car and was trying to see or had seen the UFOs herself, or if she was out at the house when we arrived there and was jealous because we had seen the UFOs and she had not been able to. Essentially, my story was running cold again. I thought that perhaps my dad would remember the incident, especially perhaps my mom telling him it. I mean, after all, he was only raising 7 kids. His mind shouldn't have been mush by then. Unfortunately, he did not recall this UFO incident. All the information had been gathered. Everything was here in front of us. The answer was obvious. We had not only witnessed the UFOs, but we had been targeted by the UFOs. And whichever sisters had been with me, they had been abducted and taken away. Only I was left behind to remember the incident, to pass on the knowledge, while only God knows what was being done to my sisters aboard the UFOs. I thought long and hard about this conclusion, but it would explain a lot about my sisters if this missing time piece of theirs was filled in with the occurrence of these UFOs. Perhaps one day, when the Earth is invaded, we will learn the truth of that day back in the 70s. Until then, I ponder the greatest question I could ask these aliens. If one day I see these same aliens, I would ask them, why? Why did you not at least leave a couple of the sisters on some planet elsewhere?